Hi, Hobby Dad here, and today we're going to be talking about backyard fruit growing. I grow Stella cherries and Bartlett pears in my yard. The cherry tree we're looking at is about 8 years old. There's another one here at the back of the yard. It's about 10 years old. And it's time to start harvesting, usually the last week of June. If you're in the upper Midwest area like I am, it's about the right time of the year. I'll zoom in a little closer so we can take a look at what the cherries look like. And they're ready to harvest. There's a big branch that's hanging down. It's weighted full. I guess there's probably a couple thousand cherries on this tree right now. Stellas are by far my favorite choice for backyard farming. They don't get that big. Most of the rootstock varieties you see grow to about 20-25 feet. I had one at a different location. It did get to about mid-20 feet, and it took about 15 years, 17 years, I would say. And we used to get a lot of fruit off of that in one season. They're also self-pollinating, so if you only have enough room for one tree, you can still grow fruit, which is fine. You have to have a tree be cross-pollinated. Always makes things a little more tricky. They're also extremely disease resistant for the most part. I have not had any problems with my trees over the years. I did have a little mold on one or two branches on the one in the back, but I cut it down real good that year, and it all came back. And it's a sweet cherry, so it's ready to be eaten off the tree. It's not a pie cherry. Probably produced for about 30 years. Usually you can get them for about 50 bucks. So once you put it in, you wait your couple of years, you get a ton of fruit off of it. It's great economically, as most fruit trees are. I can't think of what else I also grow mine completely organic. The first few years I'd use some fertilizer spikes out around the drip line, but once the tree starts getting some size to it, I stop that. I don't use neem oil, anything. And even with that, probably 80-90% of the cherries, as you can see, come out nice and healthy looking with no issues, bug bites or rots or things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start pulling these off here. I got some people coming over who want to harvest them for themselves, and I'll show you what some of the end product looks like once we get it off the tree. So after about 5 to 10 minutes of picking, filled up a nice bowl full of cherries here. What I took off probably isn't even 5% of what's on this tree, let alone what's on the back one. So even with trees that are a couple of years old, once you hit year 3 or 4, you start getting some production. And by year 15, even with one tree, you'll be inviting several people over to help pick and take cherries home. Thanks for watching.